The CPC United Front Work Department and International Department have also held a press briefing on CPC cooperation with non-party members and foreign political parties. Peng reports.
The United Front Work Department is not really a very familiar term for many foreign audience, but it's immensely important for the governance of the Communist Party here in China. Because as we know, there are many people here in China who may not necessarily believe in the communist ideologies, but it's very important for the party to unite them as well. For example, there are people in Xinjiang who are Muslims who believe in Islam, but the Communist Party believes in no religion. So how can an atheist political party unite people with strong religious beliefs is a question, and it needs a department like this to deal with. And this time, the department spokesperson particularly mentioned about the work in Tibet and the latest news about Dalai Lama, who continues to visit other countries and being received by some of the political leaders of other countries.
是披着宗教外衣的一个政治人物。
And he said the nature of Dalai Lama is actually a political figure who is trying to separate China under the disguise of religious issues. And he also said that in recent years, fewer and fewer countries are actually receiving Dalai Lama officially. And today, no country openly recognizes Dalai Lama's legitimacy. This morning, the international department of the CPC also appeared in the press conference, and it actually can be roughly compared to the Foreign Affairs Office of the Communist Party. The department particularly mentioned the work about how it's dealing with the relationship with Myanmar, because a reporter from Phoenix TV asked a question about why the Communist Party continues to support the party from Aung San Suu Kyi, who is accused by some Western countries as causing the humanitarian crisis of the Rohingya issues. The department's spokesperson said that China continues to develop relationship with Aung San Suu Kyi's political party in Myanmar because of two reasons, both from principle level and from the consideration of pragmatic interest. From the principle level, the Chinese Communist Party is committed to the principle of non-interference in other countries' issues, and he believed that issues like the Rohingya problem is an internal problem inside Myanmar, and China will, and also the Communist Party, will never take side on that. And another issue is about the pragmatic interest. The department's spokesperson said that it's very important for China to have a peaceful and stable international environment, particularly in its neighboring countries. And that is why China hopes that Myanmar government and also Aung San Suu Kyi's political party can deal with the issue properly in order to make sure the stability around China.
CGTN's Lindy Mtangana is following proceedings at the National Congress and now joins us with an update live from Beijing. Lindy, what are the key highlights from today's session?
Well, Panina, of course, it is now day 4 of the 19th CPC National Congress, and delegates are very busy with the hard work of examining the work report delivered by Party General Secretary Xi Jinping on Wednesday, examining that report and, of course, charting a way forward for the next 5 years. Now, this is taking place in plenary sessions in the Great Hall of the People, which is currently closed to the media. And so how we're accessing information is through these press conferences, daily press briefings that are taking place at the media center. Now, you have touched on some of the key points of what was mentioned in those press conferences, but indeed the most important conversations were looking at innovation in technology, particularly around agriculture, but also how China is going to achieve sustainable growth. You mentioned that growth target of 6.5%. It is one that China is very committed to, and the CPC is looking at how to do that while still keeping carbon emissions down and still taking care of the environment. And of course, that international exchanges group of the CPC also in discussion today, looking at foreign diplomacy of the party itself, and all of this trying to make sure that it's in line with Xi Jinping's agenda of what he calls a community with a shared future. So that's just some of what was discussed today.
Lindy, there's been lots of international attention to the proceedings there. What can our viewers expect from the CPC Congress in the coming days?
Well, of course, those plenary sessions are expected to continue in the days ahead. it is probably looking like both a bit of a mix between a domestic agenda and an international agenda. But indeed, even if it is a domestic agenda, the world is paying attention. Now, it's hard for us to know exactly what will be discussed in the Great Hall of the People. As I said, there is no media access at this point. So again, we'll be getting our information from those press conferences at the media center. What's on the agenda tomorrow for those press briefings is discussions around the strength of China's military, also education reform, and meeting new expectations in terms of improving the livelihood of Chinese people. Now, that is a particularly important topic. As we know, of course, China has had very specific targets around eradicating poverty by 2020 and generally creating a country of moderate prosperity, as it's called. Now, what we're looking at the moment is, of course, that has almost basically been achieved. 2020 is around the corner, and China really has almost eradicated poverty in the country. So what the CPC is looking at is not only the next 5 years, but actually the next 30 years. And that's the new era that Party General Secretary Xi Jinping has been talking about. Now, of course, those discussions will continue over the next few days, and it will all conclude with the election of the 19th CPC Central Committee. And of course, we'll be bringing you regular updates right until that closing session. Thanks, Penina.
Lindy Mtongana in Beijing, we appreciate these updates. Thank you very much.